The Sharks offense starts to show some sign of life in their 3-1 loss to the Boston Bruins. And crazy Twitter Sharks day with Kevin Labanc being put on waivers, apparently than not, and some other news with the Sharks. So we'll discuss all of that and more on today's episode.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at Inside the Rink, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, proudly a part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can subscribe on YouTube as well, or do both. Both is great. And the Sharks continue their losing efforts, losing 3-1 to the Boston Bruins, but signs of life from the offense today as they had not their best goal output, but their best, you could see a little bit of production with it. So we're going to discuss the offensive effort. We're going to look at what the numbers say for the forward lines, talk about Kaapo Kahkonen tonight, and then discuss, of course, the news between Labanc's put on waivers, not put on waivers, Radim Simek, who was put on waivers, Nikita Okhotiuk, and Logan, Couture, and Mikael Granlund. So packed show today as we end the week. So let's start with the offensive effort from the Sharks. And there was much more sustained offense tonight. That was, something that we've been asking for to see from the Sharks, right? Can we see some sort of sustained offense? And the Sharks did that tonight. It wasn't the best quality of offense, but they spent more time in their zone than we have seen from any game this year from San Jose. And you can, start to see some of these players, Zadina. I think we have to, start with Filip Zadina, who has been a great addition to the Sharks. I can't believe a team would just terminate his contract and let him walk away. But, he has been a great addition. I posed on Twitter today, is Filip Zadina the best Sharks forward of the year so far? Yes, we are 4 games into the season. But I think between him and Tomas Hertl, it's a pretty fair argument between the two of them. Hertl had another assist tonight, but he's been a great player for the Sharks, and he continues that effort. You saw it on the PK tonight, right? He had another shorthanded opportunity, even 5-on-5. Notice every time he stepped on the ice, he was doing things. He was playing hard. He was making stuff happen, and I just want just a period. That's all. Just a start of Zadina, Bordelot, Eklund. That's all I'm asking for. We'll get into the lines here in a little bit, and all the lines. All the lines looked pretty good tonight when you dig into the actual stat, the stats. But the problem is the Sharks are struggling. Yes, we saw more shots on goal. They had 27 shots on goal tonight. But the problem is there's still a lot of these low danger outside the number, kind of like perimeter shots. And they just haven't been able to kind of create the quality that you want. 5-on-5 tonight. So, I know we normally kind of dig into the analytics a little bit later, but 5-on-5 for the Sharks tonight. Corsi for it's 49-49, 50%. So each, for the Bruins and the Sharks. Actual shots was 29-21. So, okay, Bruins, had a slight edge there, 58-42%. But here, scoring chances, even pretty close, 26-22. You saw Eklund create a bunch of scoring chances that were guys just kind of couldn't do anything with, right? You think of Eklund behind the net, and he kind of does that sweet little pass to Hoffman, who just kind of heals it, right? Same thing, Eklund kind of wins a little board battle, kicks it out to Cunnin, who goes to the net, but just kind of fumbles it. Zetterlund gets the puck behind the net. It's kind of the same thing. Eklund wide open, doesn't get a shot off right there. Bordeleau, Zadina finds Bordeleau wide open, just can't get a shot. And, I know a lot of these guys are kind of new and are still juggling the lines, but those are the things right there, getting those quality shots right there. But scoring chances, the Sharks did a good job of getting some scoring chances, but then the high danger chances. Bruins 17-5 with the actual high danger chances. Expected goals for 3.96 to 103. So you can point to Kaapo Kahkonen and say he had a really good night. But that's what I'm talking about. Even in the third period when the Sharks were, for a good chunk of the third period, right? They didn't pull the goalie till about 3 minutes left, but they only produced one expected goal in the third period. And yes, they scored one goal in the third period. So yay. But that's right. You're down 3, and I know Boston's a great team, and they're a stout, good defense, and Allmark is insane, very, very good. But you got to get to the net more, and I think that's the problem, is not only get to the net but get shots off. And the Bruins did that tonight, right? The Bruins, how many shots was it? Guys in Kaapo Kahkonen's face, and they're just getting shots off right there in those high quality areas. And the Sharks just still working on that, right? We saw a lot of great opportunities, but they're still just kind of missing those just healing shots, or just the chemistry isn't quite there yet. And that's, again, when you add so many new pieces, right? Zadina, Hoffman, Duclair, Giovanni Smith, and then you still have Mikael Granlund and Logan Couture out. There's a lot of moving parts here, as this team is still trying to figure themselves out going forward. So, but I think you can at least start to see some signs of life. The schedule gets a little. They play a little bit easier game. They play the Preds, who are kind of a bubble playoff team potentially. So potential chance for a win there, but the Preds just took care of the Rangers tonight. So hockey's a weird sport, but if they can continue to build on it, right? That's the thing is, okay, you had a good game here, at least offensively, where you could start to see your foundation. Can you build on this foundation, right? And I think, again, it's a lot of the young guys kind of doing a lot of the heavy work, right? Eklund, you see how the board work of, he gets the puck and he puts whatever defender is on him just into a blender, right, of back and forth and trying to find that space and create that space for his teammates, and then putting passes there. And Luke Cunningham playing center, God bless him for trying. Can we please split Eklund up from Cunningham? That's all I'm asking. I know, God bless Eklund or Cunningham doing, right with Jacob Peterson in the press box tonight. I know you're down some centers, but please, can we split those two up? It's so far, they're just not on the same page right now. And so, but anyway, some progress, still a lot of work to go as the Sharks continue. The defense, right? I mean, yes, they held the Boston Bruins to 3, but again, that's also a work in progress as they're trying to figure out the right kind of combos. They're trying to figure out who's running the power play. Nikolai Knizhov got that tonight. But again, you can't let teams, and I know Boston's a good team, just kind of park themselves and pepper your goaltenders, especially that close. And yes, they didn't give up as many shot attempts tonight, only giving up 36, which seems much better than what we've seen from the past couple games from San Jose. But it's all the just crashing the net, and they're just not able to kind of keep that area clean for the goalies. So we'll dig into the forward line tonight, dig into Kaapo Kahkonen's night as well, and then also look at what's happening with some of the transaction stuff, or what's not happening with some of the transaction stuff here next. But before we get into all that, I do need to talk about our good friends over at Jace Medical. And with everything going on, we're in fire season still here in California. You never know when there's going to be an earthquake. Anything can happen. Emergency can happen at any time. That's where the Jace Medical comes in with the customizable Jace case, right? They have dozens of add-on medications now that you can add on, but their personalized emergency medication kit contains 5 essential antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. And like I said, you can customize the case, add additional life-saving medications based on your unique needs. Jace is continually working to expand their medication offerings. So if they don't have something right now, keep checking back because they continue to add new stuff. You can also buy a gift card for family or loved ones. So that way they can get a Jace case of their own. Go to jacemedical.com, enter code LOCKEDON at checkout for a $20 discount on your order. That's promo code LOCKEDON at jasemedical.com. And when you're done with that, you might need some new shorts, some joggers. They got looking at some new comfy pants as winter is going to be starting to hit here soon. That's where our good friends over at Bird Dogs has got you covered. Yes, they make the most comfortable shorts. If you're one of those, we are blessed to live in California where you can usually get away with wearing shorts for a good chunk of the season. And you want some pants that make your tushy look good. They fit really well, especially around the thighs, and they have anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day. Or like I said, they have loungers. They got the jogger pants now. They have a bunch of different pants options. And the great thing is they all look great on you. Built-in underwear, which again, I was very skeptical on it. Came around, tried them out. Life-saving. Keep things cool and dry, if you know what I mean. So go to birddogs.com /LockedOnNHL or enter promo code LockedOnNHL at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com /LockedOnNHL for a free water bottle at checkout. You want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you. All right, so let's continue by looking at how the Sharks forwards played. And again, 5-on-5, this game was pretty close with the exception of some of the, the high quality chances. And I know what you're going to say before we even get into that is the Bruins kind of got a little lucky with some of their goals, right? First goal was an absolute snipe by Marchand, but the second one, you very easily could have, I think, looked at that for goalie interference. I get from the Quinn, like maybe the puck wasn't, you could argue that the puck wasn't covered all the way. I probably would have challenged it, right? David Quinn has forgotten more about hockey than I will ever know. I probably would have challenged it. Yes, I know potentially going on the PK there, and that could have put the game out of hand already. But your PK has been pretty solid with the exception of last game all season. And again, I think the risk of being down 1-0 compared to being on the penalty kill, I think you could have, at least maybe, I don't want to say like support Kaapo Kahkonen, but it seemed like Kaapo Kahkonen was kind of frustrated that they didn't challenge that. So, and then the third one with the Pastrnak going down the side and everybody just kind of colliding. Someone's called it a Rocket League goal, and I thought it was hilarious. And the puck just kind of trickling in. That was, that's what happens when you're a bad team. So, overall, though, I mean, like the Sharks did have a lot more sustained offense, and good teams get lucky bounces, and bad teams seem to get bad bounces, and the Sharks are a bad team right now. So let's dig into the lines, see what the stats say for tonight. And overall, again, pretty positive 5-on-5 play, and usual lines. So we had, or a little bit different lines tonight. Sorry, excuse me. So we had Barabanov, Hertl, Duclair played the most at 5-on-5 at 12:09, 13 shot attempts 0.49 allowed. Actual shots was 7-6. So good to see there. Did have a goal, gave up a goal as well. Expected goals for was 0.25. Expected goals allowed was 0.42. So not super great there. 6-2 scoring chances, 0-2 high danger chances, 6-3-4 for your zone starts. Eklund, Kahkonen, Hoffman played 655 together. 8-8 for shot attempts, 3-6 for actual shots on goal. Did give up a goal, 0.08 expected goals, 4 to 0.23. 5-3 on the scoring chances, 0-2 for the high danger chances. That's what I was talking about, where they're creating stuff, but they're just not quite able to, like kind of whiffing on some of those passes, right? Or like that's that kind of chemistry that we're talking about. So Filip, Zadina, Tomas Hertl, and Kevin Labanc, who made his season debut. 6:46 time on ice, 8-8, 3-3 for the actual shots, 0.2 to 0.38 for the expected goals, 2-2 or 3-5 high scoring chances, 2-2 high danger chances. Did have 2 rush attempts, 3-1-3. Labanc, I thought, has some moments. Maybe showing a little bit of rust for not having played a lot of hockey recently. If it was me, I would swap Labanc and Kahkonen whenever Kahkonen, if Kahkonen comes back or whatever, or if they can find a center there and Kahkonen switches back to the wing. But maybe that line can be a little bit more like hard nose, or even swapping Eklund and Labanc, excuse me. And then you have a line of Labanc, Kahkonen, Hoffman, right? And that line can be a little bit more hard nosed, just kind of with Labanc and Hoffman, who both can score, right? And I think you can have the Zadina, Bordeleau, Eklund line be a little bit more creative, and then with Zadina kind of being the main beneficiary of that line. So that's what I would do. But overall, I think Kevin Labanc was okay tonight. I think Bordeleau, you saw a little bit more of the physicality with Bordeleau. I think he made some nice plays, but made a really nice back check in the first period. And like I said with Zadina earlier, like you could argue Zadina has been the best forward among the Sharks between him and Tomas Hertl. Wouldn't get, you can pick there between the two. So then the fourth line of Zetterlund, Sturm, Giovanni Smith continuing to do good things in short periods of ice time. So they played 5 minutes together. I think Giovanni Smith was kind of iced in the third period when they were down 3, trying to kind of come back. Giovanni Smith had a really nice. There was a Zetterlund really nice pass, and Smith just kind of whiffed. Like I said earlier, just a lot of almost chances from the Sharks tonight. 6-4 Corsi 4, 5-0 shots. Bravo, fourth line. Way to go. 0.13 expected goals for to 0.14, 2-2 scoring chances, 2-2 high danger chances, and 2-3-0 for your zone starts. We also got some Eklund, Sturm, Hoffman together. I know Sturm kind of was in and out of the game a little bit, and I think Sturm was also taking some draws, so that way trying to limit Luke Cunningham. They had 4-3 shot attempts, but 1-3 actual shots on goal. And then we did get Zadina, Kahkonen, Labanc as well for a little bit too, but that was like a shift basically. Kaapo Kahkonen, let's look at his night. So all situations here. Actually, hold on. We'll do Kaapo Kahkonen here in just a minute, and we'll also talk about Labanc, Simek, Okhotiuk, Couture, kind of get caught up on everything that's happening around San Jose here in just 1 second. But need to talk to you about our good friends over at Sleeper. Nothing better than watching Tomas Hertl score a hat trick. The Sharks winning a Stanley Cup or winning the lottery this year. And if you want to win 100 times your money, play daily fantasy hockey on the Sleeper app. They're all possible scenarios for the season, but to have a chance, all possible except for the Sharks winning the Cup, chance at winning big, you need to play daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper. As the official daily fantasy sport of the Locked On NHL Network, Sleepers are a top choice for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey. With Sleeper, you can win over 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. There's so many great players out there in the NHL that's just fun to kind of root for and bet on, right? If you think Connor McDavid is going to go off one night, which he tends to go off on many nights, or you think Crosby or Cale Makar or whoever you want to root for, all you have to do is pick more or less on stats for these stars. Choose stats like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more. You heard me, Sharks fans, 100 times payout on Steeper to start paying attention and get your picks right so you could win big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. All right, let's finish up with Kaapo Kahkonen, and then we'll get caught up on all the news and notes surrounding the Sharks. Kaapo Kahkonen's night, again, I think he started a little bit rough, but I think he settled into the game. Especially in the first period, there was a lot of juicy rebounds. He just didn't seem comfortable. And again, I think that was what to do, looking at how the Bruins kind of continue just to attack the net. But overall, he settled in and his numbers weren't too bad tonight. So especially with the kind of how much under siege he was. So Kaapo Kahkonen, all situations played 56-31. Again, the Sharks pulled him down 2, trying to kind of find some more offense. Shout out to David Quinn with the 6 forwards out there and no defensemen when the Sharks are down. That just shows, again, the Sharks have no offensive defensemen. So shots against, he faced 36, had 33 saves, goals against 3, expected goals against 4.56. So like I said, the Bruins, it didn't look like they were really trying hard, but they produced a lot of offense tonight. 0.917 save percentage, 3.18 goals against, 16 high danger saves, 15 saves, gave up 1 high danger goal, 6 medium danger shots, 5 saves, and then 12 low danger, 11 low danger saves there. So overall, I think you had to, again, maybe a rough first period, but Kaapo Kahkonen, I thought, settled in well. So we'll see what happens on Saturday with the goalies. I assume it'll probably be Blackwood because I think Blackwood's been the better of the two now that they've played 2 games each. You can point to Blackwood and, on what he has done. And if Blackwood plays like he did against Colorado, I think the Sharks could easily win that game not easily, but I think the Sharks could win that game against Nashville because that team has kind of struggled to have sustained offense themselves. So that could be a very low scoring affair if it's just Blackwood and UC Saros going at it, and whoever scores that game might win that game. So, but yeah, kind of overall signs of life from the Sharks, but they got some more work to do. So let's go to kind of what happens with the Sharks. They get caught up on everybody. So Kevin Labanc was supposed to be put on waivers, but then was not put on waivers. So Frank Sorelli of the Daily Faceoff tweeted out saying he's going to get put on waivers. And then Sharks PR was like, nah, that's not happening. So who knows where this story came from? Maybe I'm putting on my tinfoil hat here. Maybe it was Kevin Labanc's, representation trying to grease the wheel a little bit here, maybe try to get something moving with him. But it's weird because they kind of said yesterday that Labanc, or on Wednesday, they said Labanc was going to make his season debut. And then this news kind of came out. So it was kind of weird what's going on there. But Kevin Labanc is still in San Jose. I keep getting that, well, what can you get for him? You're not getting anything for Kevin Labanc. You can maybe swap a bad contract for a bad contract. But again, Kevin Labanc's in the last year of his deal. I don't want to take on a bad contract when you already have, just wait. You just wait out this season. So if somebody wants to take Kevin Labanc for a late round pick, please have that. That's what you're looking at type of thing. So Radim Simek was placed on waivers, and this was kind of, you don't want to say expected, but you could kind of see the writing on the wall. So he was placed on waivers, and we'll know at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Friday. his future, but placed on waivers with the intent to be assigned to the San Jose Barracuda. So add some more reinforcements to the Barracuda. I doubt anybody claims Radim Simek, but you never know, especially with 1 year left on his little over $2 million deal. You just feel bad for Simek because it's like anytime he starts to kind of get back, it's just another injury, and you just think that maybe at this point they're all kind of piling up. So hopefully he can go to the Barracuda, kind of play well, and then be the next guy up when the Sharks need somebody. So another guy going to the Barracuda right now on a conditioning stint is Nikita Okhotiuk. So again, not placed on waivers. Okhotiuk is going on a conditioning stint, so I think he can play. If I want to say, I think it's like a week. I should have looked this up beforehand, but he's going to play some games with the Barracuda to kind of work himself back in, and then he will be placed back on the Sharks roster. So I assume looking at the Sharks roster right now, especially with Simek going on waivers and then Henry Thrun going down, there's going to be a little bit of space here for Okhotiuk on the roster when he comes back from IR. And then I know McDonald's skating, Logan Couture's skating. We'll get to those guys here in a second. So starting to kind of see the Sharks get some pieces back here. So with Couture and Granlund, Couture will not be making the trip. So I don't expect to see him now until November when the Sharks when they get back home from this East Coast trip. So again, Sharks play November 2nd at home against the Canucks, I believe. So we're not going to see Logan Couture on this trip at all. Mikael Granlund is making the trip, so that means that he should be ready at some point to get back here in the lineup. Again, no timetable on them. So so that's kind of it with all the Sharks news and notes right now. Checking to see if there's anything else on the old twitter.com or x.com, still Twitter. And Quinn was pleased with Labanc's season debut. I have no clue where the waiver story came from. It's never been discussed. I thought he was skating. He was physical on the puck a lot. So, that would, so that's the Labanc story. So maybe bad intel, who knows what. So we'll probably never find out. But so that's going to be it for me today. We'll be back on Monday where we'll get caught up on the Nashville Preds game, and then the Barracuda have 2 games over the weekend as well. So we'll get you guys all caught up on what happened there. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts, and of course you can subscribe on YouTube as well. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can follow me on Twitter at MyFryhole. Until Monday, bye, friends.